Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the menstrual cycle. Okay, this menstrual cycle comes under the chapter Human Reproduction. So what is menstrual cycle? This is the feature of the female primates. Primates means human, ape, monkey. These are comes under the primates group. So this cycle is actually featured by the primates, female primates. And menstrual, mens means, what is mens? Mens means a month, and a cycle is what? But whenever something is starting from one point and it's end up to this point, okay, so that form a cycle, that is called the menstrual cycle. So here the cycle is starting from a phase, and that is also end up into coming to that phase also. So that is called the menstrual cycle, and as this is happening in a month, so that is called the menstrual cycle, a month, and that lasts for 28 to 29 days. Okay, and this cycle is actually start in female at the age of puberty. At the age of puberty. When puberty comes, the cycle starts first, and that phase is called menarche. That phase is called menarche, and whenever the cycle will end up at the age of 45 to 50, around this age, that phase is called the menopause. Menopause. Pause means stoppage. Whenever the cycle breaks, the stop, that is called the menopause. Whenever the menstrual cycle gets stopped at the age of 45 or 50. Okay, so that is called menopause. And actually, whenever the puberty starts, when the cycle starts, that means the female become able to fertilize, because their follicles are going to be developed, and they start releasing egg. And in each month, we have 2 ovaries, so in every month 1 ovary releases egg. So that is the menarche, whenever the cycle starts. Actually, we have our all follicles that are come when we born. We bring that all eggs from our mother womb. So that follicles, that eggs are coming out during this cycle. Whenever one cycle comes, 1 egg releases. So when the all follicles get finished at the age of the 40 and 45, there will be no follicle remain at this age. Okay, as there will be no eggs remain, then the menopause will occur, because that means the menstrual cycle will stop. Okay, so menstrual cycle is denoting your fertility period. That means you are able to fertilize, you are able to be fertilized by sperm, because in each month 1 egg will be released. But the difference is that at the age of the at very early age, before 30, before 40, actually before 30, the eggs are very young. The follicles are very young. But whenever it reaches up to the, it cross over the 35 and it comes to the age 40, 45, the follicle will become old. So the capability, the features of the coming zygote will be not actually suitable, not be survivable. So they maybe they diseased or something else. So they are not actually healthy, we can say. So if a female is fertilized within the age of 30, that would be very much helpful and very much healthy offspring will become. So follicles are actually developed in each month, and they releases egg. Okay, I discussed all about the egg structure and about the follicles in my previous video, Human Reproductive System. Please go through that video, you will be clear about that. If you have any doubt, definitely let me ask in my comment section. Okay, so menstrual cycle is what? It's actually the features of the female primate. They starts their cycle and it ends up into we will discuss that there are 4 phases. So that's end up in a cycle. Okay, and that is actually going on in a cycle manner. It lasts for it's going through 28 to 29 days. It comes at puberty, that is menarche, the starts of the cycle, and the end of the cycle is the menopause. Okay, so you better understand if you follow this chart. So what is that? First is hypothalamus. What is hypothalamus? We have an endocrine gland that is called in our brain, that is called hypothalamus. It releases a hormone named gonadotropin releasing hormone. That hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary to release the LH and FSH. That means the luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Both of them has the ability to stimulate the formation of the follicle. So hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone. That gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary to release LH, that is luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. That follicle stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone, then it facilitates the follicular growth. Follicular growth is also called proliferation. Proliferative. Proliferation. That means they are proliferating, they are growing in number of cells. That's why it's called proliferation or follicular growth. The follicles are from primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle. Then there is a Graafian follicle. Okay, Graafian follicle is a mature follicle that contains the secondary oocytes inside it. And whenever the egg actually releases, that is called the ova, that is actually in the form of secondary oocytes. Okay, and that oocytes, the ova actually get stimulated whenever the sperm come to fertilize that egg. So primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, and then Graafian follicle. So this all total phase, this is called the follicular phase, follicular growth, also called the proliferative phase. That is happening whenever the anterior pituitary releasing the luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so both of these two hormones stimulate follicles to growth. And whenever the follicle growing up, they releases one more hormone named estrogen. Estrogen. Okay, here it is, estrogen. And that estrogen it facilitates the follicle to release the egg. And that releasing of egg from the follicle, from the Graafian follicle, is called the ovulation. That is called the release of egg. It's called ovulation. It's called ovulation. Okay. So after the releasing of egg, that is after ovulation, the Graafian follicle become empty because it has ova or egg inside it. Whenever it releases the egg, it become empty, and that empty Graafian follicle then transformed into what? It transformed into corpus luteum. Okay, and this corpus luteum secretes a hormone named progesterone. Okay, now what happened? Look, progesterone level now going to be it's actually coming in peak position. Okay, its concentration is growing up. Whenever its concentration is growing up, that means the progesterone level is getting up, then it gives a negative feedback. It gives a negative feedback to the hypothalamus. And it says to hypothalamus that please stop releasing gonadotropin hormone. And hypothalamus stop to release gonadotropin hormone, because whenever the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin hormone, they will simultaneously stimulate the anterior pituitary to release the FSH and LH. Okay, so that level, high level of progesterone give the negative feedback to the hypothalamus to stop to release the gonadotropin hormone. And that will actually helps the anterior to stop to release the follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so now come to the phases. What we have learned from these flow chart? Wow, how many phases are there? There are 4 phases in menstrual cycle. Number one, there is menstruation. Okay, one more thing is that menstrual cycle, whenever the menstrual cycle is going up, there are 2 cycle simultaneously happening. That is the ovarian cycle and uterine cycle, because this menstrual cycle in both of these two organs, ovary and uterus, there are some changes occurring. Some changes occurring in the uterus and also some in the ovary, because uterine innermost layer of the uterus, that is called the endometrium, that is also getting developed. Because it knows that the egg will be fertilized, and after fertilization zygote will come to the uterine wall layer for implantation. So uterine wall layer getting itself matured, it getting itself developed. Okay, it becoming strong for implantation. And simultaneously ovary also have some events, they have some changes occurring. Their follicular phase, they have ovulation. So these are also happening, these events are happening in the ovary. So both of the structure is responsible, uterus and ovary. So menstrual cycle is actually divided into ovarian cycle, we can say ovarian cycle, and another one is uterine cycle. Uterine cycle. Okay. So how many phases are there in menstrual cycle? Number 1, menstruation. Number 2, follicular phase. Follicular phase. Number 3, ovulation. And number 4, luteal phase. Luteal phase. Okay. Now look. Menstruation phase, what happened? In menstruation phase, the endometrium get ruptured. The endometrium get ruptured and all the wall of the endometrium shedding out during 3 to 5 days. That is called the menstruation. That is locally we can say it as a periods. Okay. So during 3 to 5 days, menstruation occur during 3 to 5 days. Okay, and that is happening here. Okay. So menstruation happening 3 to 5 days over endometrium of the uterine wall layer is breaking down. Okay, that is the menstruation. Next, what happens after menstruation? After menstruation, the follicular phase comes. During follicular phase, the follicular growth is happening by the hormone LH and FSH. The follicles developing, they forming primary follicle, then secondary follicle, then tertiary follicle, then Graafian follicle. Okay, so follicular growth is happening at this phase, and next stage, at the end of this follicular phase, whenever the Graafian follicle grow up and it become mature, it become ready for releasing its egg. Up to that period, that is follicular phase. Okay, now the Graafian follicle is releasing egg. Okay, that releasing egg is called the ovulation. That is here in the flow chart. That is called ovulation. Okay, and that ovulation is occurring by the activity of the estrogen. That estrogen is also secreted by the ovary or by the follicles. Okay. Now next phase is luteal phase. Luteal phase is what? Whenever the Graafian follicle releases egg, that follicle is transformed into luteal corpus luteum, and that is called the luteal phase. And that corpus luteum is responsible for the secretion of the progesterone. And that as the corpus luteum secreting progesterone and the progesterone level is becoming high, that gives the negative feedback to the hypothalamus. In that way, the cycle is happening. Okay, and ovulation is occurring at the day of 14. That means at the middle of the menstrual cycle, because we know that menstrual cycle is happening for 28 to 29 days, and the ovulation is happening at the middle of that cycle. And follicular phase is happening at the day of 11 to 13. Okay, sorry, from the day of 7 to 11 or 13 during these days, and then after 14, that is from 15 to 28 days, there will be luteal phase. Okay, so these are all about the menstrual cycle. You will follow the diagram from the book. Okay, and also consult this video. You will be able to clear about the menstrual cycle. Okay, so I will meet with the next topic under this chapter, human reproduction. Till then, take care. Thank you for watching.